So this is a follow-up on the series, couple of videos I put out. I'll probably do some more of these in the future, dealing with what you got. This is very card cheating centric, and there's always that disclaimer in card cheating tutorials that card cheating is immoral and you should never do it. Obviously, you know, that's the case. But to be honest with you, if you're playing some kind of home game, some kind of place where there's no money being transferred, you're literally just playing for chips, right? You're just playing for points or whatever. A Yahtzee type poker game. You might try some of this stuff just to see if you can control an outcome. Not necessarily to throw the game entirely, but just to kind of test it out. And you can fold, of course, if you have controlled an outcome that gives you the advantage, if you really have qualms about it. But anyway, I'm going to narrate what I'm doing. So a couple of strategies here. One is to have some knowledge set of what's available. So one way that this would happen is there might be a game that's actually in play. And I don't know, this would be the equivalent of what's out on the table. And you can see that something's been played. And I have access to cards. I gather them up, right? And this is where a lot of dirty work can be done. So I can see right here, I've got just a quick glance. I can see that I've got 4 diamonds that are in access to me. So what I might do is try to get these together, right, and get them onto the bottom. And then I just want to control those and see if I can add one more diamond to it. Because one of the easiest things to put together that doesn't relate to previous hands very well is a flush, right? If you throw out cards that just, if a full house was just played and then you throw out a 3 of a kind using those cards from that full house that was just played, that's quite suspicious. But if there was some other kind of hand that won, but there are cards that can make up a flush, that's much better because no one remembers what cards were out there that could then make up the flush in the next hand, if that makes sense. So it's also easy to put it together. So I know I've got 4 diamonds on the bottom. I just need to control one more diamond. So what I'm going to do is just go until I hit one. And once I hit one, I'll just strip it down to the bottom, and I've called it in. And now I can do some fairly, what seems like a fair shuffling. It is, except that I'm maintaining the bottom stock. Then I have the cut, and then of course I need to get this put back in place. So I've got to apply some kind of a shift or a pass when I get the cards back. So in the squaring, I've shifted it. I'm ready to go now. I just need to make sure that I get a pair out of that set of diamonds, and then the rest of the remaining diamonds, the remaining 3 diamonds, get put onto the table. And then I need to hope that nobody else has diamonds, right? So how many hands are we dealing with here? Not 1, 5 hands. Okay, 5 hands of around the table. So I need to put 2 diamonds here. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, bottom to me. Bottom to me. So I know I've got 2 diamonds. I don't know what else is out there. Mine is an 8 and a 2. Which is not very high. So if I have more than 3 diamonds show up, I know that it could be an advantage to somebody else, right? Unless someone else has 2 diamonds in their hole, right? They can't do as well as me. If that makes sense. I want 3 diamonds to show up, the 3 that I have, but not more. So I may take a quick look to see what I've got here. I've got a queen of hearts. So what I want to do is I want to try to get that on the board with 2 diamonds here, right? So what I may do is a second, the burn. So I've done a second deal on the burn, and then I'm going to flop the queen, and then I'm going to flop 2 of the diamonds from my reserve. So I now have those out, and then I want to get a non-diamond card in here on the next one, right? So I might take another peek and see what I've got. I've got an 8 of spades coming next. So I probably will do the same kind of tactic. I might second deal the burn and then put the 8 out. And now on the last one, I've got one more diamond in reserve. So what I will do is I will burn this top card, and then I'm going to bottom the diamond. So I have now a pair of queens. And even if someone else has a queen out there, there are only 1, 2, 3 diamonds. I've got 2 in my hand. Unless someone else has a pair of diamonds, I'm going to flush them out, no matter what they have. Okay, so let's see what we have. So we've got 6 and 3, pair of 3s. 5 and 10, 1 diamond. Queen, 3 of a kind, right? 3 of a kind. That's it. Jack, king. Jack, king, queen, pair of jacks. That's the best they can do. And then, of course, I have the flush. So I have 3 here, 2 here, 5 diamonds. That is the winning hand. So that's what I'm looking at. So that's one example, is to stack up with what you have available. And that's kind of what I demonstrated on the first video that I showed. So the second video that I showed was a lot more restricting. What I did is I was dealing with a truly shuffled deck. So I didn't get a chance to stack anything up. I just had the opportunity to peek based on the legitimately shuffled and cut deck. And then I had to, again, work with what I had available to me. So let's try that. So shuffled deck in use. Bury the top and the bottom, legitimately shuffled. Cut. And I would shuffle it. Shuffle, shuffle, strip, riffle, cut. I have no idea what's in the stack. I have no idea. So what I need to do is I need to get a peek. I need to peek the top and the bottom. So I know I've got a 7 of diamonds to deal with on the top. And then I also know that I've got an ace, ace of spades to deal with in the bottom. So the ace is obviously very useful to me. The 7 is not terribly useful. I might try to get that ace. I might start with that to see if I can get the ace in my my hole over here. So 3, we'll do 3 hands, and I want to try to bottom deal that ace to myself. So 1, 2, bottom. I have no idea what my second card is. I don't have an opportunity to find out. I know that they've got a 7, and I know that I've got an ace over here. So I'm going to take a quick glimpse here. I know I've got a 5 on the top, and I've got another ace on the bottom. So I have an ace here that I can work with. I probably want to get that on the table. And I have a 5. So I've got a 5 on the top, and I know that I've got a 5 on the top of the deck. So if I can get the 5 and the ace out there, I've got 2 pair. So probably what I want to do is I want to burn a second. And then I want to flop out the 5 and the ace. So I'm going to burn the second. I'm going to flop, flop, flop. So I've done the 5 from the top and the ace from the bottom. Now I've got a problem here. I've got 3 clubs, but I've got 2 pair. I've got an ace and a 5, but there's 3 clubs on the table. I don't want any more clubs on the table. If someone else has a pair of clubs, they're going to get a flush, and that is a possibility. So whatever comes next, I want to advantage myself, aces and 5s, avoid 7s, no clubs, right? So while people are looking, I'm getting another glimpse. I know I've got a 7 of hearts coming, and then I know that I've got a king on the bottom. I don't want to get that king out there. The 7 might keep them in, so I might try to put the 7 on the table. It's not a club. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to burn the king from the bottom. So I'm burning the bottom card, and then I'm going to put down the 7. I know I've given them a pair, but I've got 2 pair against their 7. And there's no club there, right? So I'm going to take another look on the top to see what I've got. There's a 10 coming. 10 of spades, that's fine. I could get that out there. There's another ace on the bottom, and it's not a club. So what I might do is I might burn the 10, and then I'm going to bring out the ace from the bottom. So I'm going to stud bottom the ace, and now I'm in a situation where I've got a full house. Unless someone else has 2 clubs, they're not going to pull a flush against me. So I'm dealing, in all probability, against that happening. They might have it. I don't know. But I'm doing pretty well. I've got a full house, 3 aces, 2 5s. They've got a pair of 7s, and that's it. So this is the question. What do they have? They also have a pair of 7s, 1 club, but I kept the clubs out of it, so I didn't allow them to get a flush, and I win. So full house, 3 aces over 5s there. So anyway, that is dealing with what you've got. Dealing with what you've got. Of course, in a real game, there's all kinds of time to get those peaks and to allow yourself to think about how you want to use what is available to you, and then deal it out in the appropriate way. So a couple of different variations on dealing with what you've got. Card cheating, right? This is a card cheating, just using tops and bottoms, peaks, and that strategy of using bottoms to burn, or seconds to burn off something that you can't use, right? Burning off the top card, knowing full well what it is. If it's a high value card but it doesn't help you, you want to get rid of it. So you burn it out and bring in low value cards if it doesn't help you, right? But it won't help anybody else. So that's it. You're just trying to advantage play. And sometimes they don't work. Sometimes you play this to your advantage and you still lose. So the one thing about advantage playing is that if you know that you're not going to do well, it allows you to fold, right? If you know that somebody else has something better because you've dealt it out there to them, and the cards on the table are helping out, a 3 and a 4 or something, that on the flop you get a 2 pair. Even if I have high value cards, I'm out, right? So advantage playing is just helping you to know when to get out of it. Anyway, dealing with what you've got, just kind of more real world examples. Now, a little bit about dealing and peaking. Obviously, this only works in slow company. This isn't something you could do in a real game, because having the deck up off the table like this and turning it over, perpendicular like this to get my peaks, obviously this is no, right? This is not, you wouldn't be able to deal with cards in this way in a very strict environment. But that's not when you would cheat, right? That's the thing about those people that claim, well, you couldn't really do that with really good card players. Well, you wouldn't cheat in a strict environment. That's why strict rules are useful, because it makes the game fair. You would only do this when the situation allows you to get away with it. Anyway, just a kind of because we look at cheating here, and a lot of the moves we use are cheating moves. That's what cheating can look like in a kind of a real world situation. Dealing with what you've got, working with what you've got. There you go. Good luck with that. Happy magicking.